France has desserts. Italy has pizza and pasta. Japan, sushi and ramen. England, blood pudding and fish and chips. And New Zealand has the hangi and also fish and chips. Right, kia ora everybody. Today I want to talk to you about New Zealand's #1 food. Good old fish and chips. Fish and chips. For 150 years now, fish and chips has been a huge part of New Zealand's economy and culture. It's now probably even part of our DNA, with Friday nights being the night for a fish and chip takeout, whether you're on your own or with your family. Now, sure, every now and again we'll go crazy and maybe get some burgers or pizza, Chinese or fried chicken or whatever, but we will always come back to this small paper that warms us both on the outside and on the inside. You just have to. You can't help yourself. This paper wrapping is an icon of New Zealand. It needs to go next to the kiwi bird and the silver fern. This is what keeps us going through the horrible working week, just to get to this at the end of it on a Friday night. And it fuels us for the weekend to come. It is everything. It is what is pure and it is what is true about New Zealand. Now you might be thinking, wait a second, didn't you just say that England also does fish and chips? Well, firstly, how dare you remember something I said like a minute ago, and don't you ever question me. How dare you? I'm going to put some math down. So I went on the internet to do some research, and from my count there is about at least 670 fish and chip shops in New Zealand, by which I define any shop that sells takeaway fish and chips in this white paper or newspaper. In England, there is about 10,000. Now yes, that is a lot more, but you've got to remember England has a population of 55 million. New Zealand only has 5 million, which means we have about 3 times the amount of fish and chip shops per capita, which is the only way New Zealand knows how to quantify things. And it's the only thing that matters. Oh, my stick! I want to do a little bit extra research, so I went and counted all the fish and chip shops in every major city in New Zealand, because I have time for that, apparently. Anyway, there wasn't that much of a competition. It was between 2 cities, Auckland and Christchurch, both having over 130 that I could find. And I mean, that seems pretty close, except Auckland has a population of 1.7 million. Christchurch has a population of 400,000. So if we go for per capita, Christchurch has about 4 times as many fish and chip shops per capita than Auckland. Really, that makes Christchurch the fish and chip shop capital of the world. That's a little bit crazy. However, tragedy struck the fish and chip industry as Big Gary's, a 40-year-old establishment, had to close its doors after not being able to compete in this harsh New Zealand economy. It was big for university students, as their dorms are just 1.3 kilometers away, and was a staple of the university student diet. So now, where will those poor university students go in order to feed themselves? But it's okay, there are other options. For example, Captain Ben's Fish and Chip Shop, burgers and Chinese takeaway. You can read it all right there, and it's only negative 900 meters further away. That's right, it's only 450 meters away from the university campus, making it significantly closer than Big Gary's was. But if this isn't your cup of tea, there are other options too, if you'll follow me. 1.3 kilometres away we have Island Seafoods Fish and Chip Shop, which you can see they're very busy at the moment working. Bunch of other shops down here too, which is pretty good. I guess that makes it very convenient for a lot of people. And then there's Frisco's Fisheries, that's hard to say, at Church Corner Mall, which is about 1 kilometre away from the university campus, so it's even closer than Big Gary's was. The next closest is a mere 200 metres that way. The Upper Riccarton Fish and Chip Shop, only 200 metres away from Frisco's Fishery, and it's in the same mall complex. That's just what it's like in New Zealand. And then there's Fendleton, which is only 1.9 kilometres away. Slightly further than Big Gary's was, but still relatively close, probably a bit far. It's a bit closer to the university campus as opposed to the dorm, which, you know, might make it a little bit better. So with so many other fish and chip shop establishments close by to the university, in fact closer than Big Gary's was, and just so many fish and chip shops in general, why was this one so popular? Well, I went to the internet to find out and had some quite interesting findings. Well, not really. Mainly, they just did one really big, giant hot dog, and I mean really, really big. I remember it too. Now, a lot of fish and chip shops will do a giant hot dog next to their regular size hot dog. And it's not to say the regular size hot dog is small or anything, it's perfectly fine size. A lot of people like it smaller. A lot of people don't want to take on something quite that big or girthy. And enough about that. So this one was particularly big even for giant hot dogs. It wasn't on a flimsy popsicle stick, it was basically on a giant oak. And just looking at it made you shudder in anticipation, thinking you can't possibly fit something that big into the human body. No, stop. We've got to stop talking about it like that. That's just ridiculous. Stop. So, giant hot dog aside, what else was there? Well, the next biggest thing was Big Gary's was open until 3 a.m. And most places would probably close at like 9 or 10 p.m. But Big Gary's, 3 in the morning. That's ridiculous. Who's even awake then? Most bars and pubs close at 2 in the morning, which made this the perfect place to come for a pre-hangover cure. Brilliant. Plus, it was filled with arcade games for you to play. It kind of became its own nightclub after 11 p.m. People would just come here to hang out. So there's one other thing. I'm going to need you to come here. Keep this a secret. The other big thing is there was a rumor. It's just a rumor that if you ordered a silverfish, you could get some marijuana with your order. Now, it's just a rumor. It's probably not true. Don't go looking into it. But it would, it would make sense as to why this place was so popular among university students. But I'm sure it's mainly the giant hot dog. And so that's it. In summary, New Zealand has a lot of fish and chip shops. Somehow they manage to stay in business, and unfortunately, some don't. New Zealand economy is having a rough time at the moment, and it is a real shame that a place like Big Gary's just had to shut down because of it. Well, on that sad note, I'm going to eat these fish and chips. Walking around and driving around looking for fish and chip shops all day has been really exhausting. I'm going to just dig into this right here, and you can go. I'm going to film myself, credits will roll, do whatever you want. Watch this guy in the background. I don't care anymore. Oh, that's good.